Welcome to Climate Check with me, Mary Mwikisa. Today I'm coming to you from the rooftop of one of the companies right here in Lusaka City in the Central Business District. We are right in the heart of the city. Now behind me we have solar panels. What does this mean? It means that companies, industries can actually run their businesses off-grid. They are able to use solar-powered solutions as well as other sources of clean energy. And of course, today on the program, we focus on the just transition to clean energies that the country is a part of. And of course, we'll be finding out how sustainable and how efficient is this type of energy, even as we take into account protecting our planet, even as we seek solar solutions. Join me on the other side. Now imagine if trees could provide Wi-Fi. Just how many trees you would plant? Well, they provide oxygen. We definitely cannot do without it. Destruction of nature, such as forests, has led to irreversible climatic changes to our world. Join me as I talk to policy formulators, change makers, and climate change interest groups on Climate Check, weekly on this channel. Now you are the solution to climate change. We now get more information about solar energy from Mr. Christopher Mapulanga, an energy enthusiast and renewable energy expert.
This is basically what we refer to as rooftop solar. You know, since time immemorial and since independence, we've been highly reliant on hydropower. At the moment, because of global warming and climate change, we are going more into more renewable forms of energy to help mitigate our energy gap. So what basically happens here is that it's an industry that's involved in funeral services. The company is called FSG Zambia, and FSG Zambia has decided to be more sustainable, to provide services to its customers by ensuring that they have renewable energy at their offices so that their business are not interrupted due to load shedding and due to other power issues that might occur in the future. So it's a more future-based energy planning to ensure that they are part of the energy mix that the country is needing at the moment in these times of load shedding. Solar plays a vital role in different industries, just starting from your basic home all the way up to your industry functionality. Your basic home, you can have a system that can do your fridges, whether your chest freezer or your double door freezer, your bulbs, and also your security lights. One power component that you obviously don't want to use is a stove. So with a stove you go gas. So this is about an energy mix. You need to have an energy mix to ensure you mitigate the energy gap. So for cooking, you don't go the charcoal route, because as you know, charcoal is deforestation is one of the factors that's causing this particular global warming factor. So when it comes to cooking, for a basic home, you go gas, and then you can still have your solar system to power 80% of your appliances, except obviously, as we've mentioned, your stove. You know, solar energy in terms of technology has evolved over the years, and as you're aware, before we had smaller panels in terms of size, maybe starting from like 60 watts, but as we've gone by and the technology has improved, we've had bigger panels, batteries have been more efficient in terms of where they've been manufactured. There's been more options for people to actually get involved in. So at the moment, you find that the market is friendly for different solar applications that you can use for your home. If you're farming, for instance, in your Mukushi or in Mufrila or in Chipata, there are solar pumps that are available that to ensure that we also add to the food basket. Because I think one critical factor is that energy is just not for communication or for industry. It's the food basket is one factor that's reliant on that. So, you know, you've got your wells and your boreholes that exist. And solar is providing a very, very vital component to ensure that our food basket is accessible to the public. And also one important factor is that we need to get away from the rainfall sort of agriculture. Because obviously, you know, climate change, global warming, you are facing droughts, so you need to go more into water tables. So by using solar pumps, you are still able to do your agriculture throughout the year by accessing our groundwater. As you're aware, we've got a lot of groundwater, starting from Napula. There's a lot of water there that can work for our farmers across the country. There are the commercial farmers now who are powering their irrigation rigs using solar. There are farmers who are, their vegetation, horticulture-wise, fruits that are being exported to Europe, are all using solar pumps as a way to engage in this situation. Then you also have a combination of what they call a solar and electric pump.
Okay.
So those ones are also available. So you can have both electric utility, meaning your Zesco or any other utility company that is providing the service. And then you also have the solar in one combination, like a two-in-one sort of pump. These are readily available. ERB is regulating the industry and ZABs in terms of standards, because also that's a very important component that people need to realize. Because obviously there's a lot of junk that's being put onto the market and confusing people to say this is working and that. So all those things are now being regulated by ERB itself, which provides a license. And then you also have ZABs that's ensuring that these standards are maintained. And it's unfortunate, obviously there was a crisis and then you needed to adjust and adapt. But at the moment, there's been a lot of information out there. And then with the internet and all these other sources of information, people are now able to get the right information. Because I think what is cardinal is you need to get the right information to understand what you're trying to get involved in. Another critical factor is the return on investment. Obviously, in the beginning, the equipment is pricey and high, and most of our operation can't afford. But there are other solar packages, pay-as-you-go packages, where you can pay as low as 20 kwacha per month.
Okay.
It's a solar kit. It comes with a TV. It comes with the basic lighting. Then you can pay over using your mobile.
Tell me more about that. That sounds interesting.
So that's entry point solar. So there are different companies that some are from the States, some are American companies, some are Dutch companies, some are from France. They're offering pay-as-you-go packages, because these pay-as-you-go packages are trying to help our sustainable development goals, especially when it comes to energy. So you realize that these packages, for instance, you can get a package. Maybe the total package is 10,000 kwacha, but you don't have the 10,000 kwacha at the particular period of time. You can pay through your mobile as well as 50 kwacha, get a package, you leave a down payment, then you pay the rest as and when you go by. You're given a package, so that this entry point solar can work for the average Zambian who can't afford to go high apex costs immediately. And some of this solar is just not for, because you understand that our rural areas, there are a lot of kids out there who just need to read basic lighting. There's basic lighting on solar for them to read at night. Then even our women who are giving birth in the rural hospitals and all these sectors need just simple lighting for them to actually get involved in that. So there's entry point solar, which is providing the same. Then you can easily upgrade. I always tell people to say, you are not going in full force at the beginning. You gradually upgrade as and when you go by. And I think this is one of the important factors in terms of the renewable space. Being green and clean is, apart from the generation coming, whether it's a Gen Zs or anyone just coming who's 10 years old or 7 or 20, you need to protect the environment. And you can only start protecting the environment by yourself, your activities. How are you wasting water? How are you using power? Before, we had those 90-watt bulbs that used to be in homes across the country. Now they've reduced to about 7. Now imagine how much power was being wasted before. And we got used to that. So now we need to conserve power because of global warming. We need to go more into more climate change activities like planting trees, whether at your office, at your home. Ensure you have a garden in your backyard if you've got that space and you're not enclosed, to ensure that at least you try and reduce the carbon footprint. That's
We now find out how FSG Limited is succeeding in running its business off-grid. Musonda Muntali is the marketing officer at the company.
We made a decision to go into the solar because we were having serious power interruptions, and because of the nature of the business, like the funeral services, we have a mortuary, a full-fledged mortuary, so we needed to run 24 hours, 24/7. So because of that and due to the power interruptions, we needed to obviously go off-grid and find a solution for that, and that is why we installed our solar. I think it's perfect because even the company that installed the solar for us, we don't even get to notice when the power is gone. Or it's quick. It's up, and our fridges have maintained, work has also maintained, the flow has maintained, so we're okay and happy with it. I think it's just time to switch. With the solar, I think we have been able to maintain the business. We have not lost any customers. Customers are still very happy with the service. We've not had any problems. So even for companies that are in similar businesses or even others doing other related businesses or butcheries, I would advise they go solar because you're not going to be interrupted with the power, you're not going to lose on products. And also, unlike maybe using other sources of power, let's say coal and whatnot, that will actually contribute negatively to the environment, solar is the way to go. We have branches all across the country. So we have Lusaka, Copperbelt. In Copperbelt, we have 2 branches. Chipata, that's in Eastern. We have Southern Province. We have Northern, all around the country. And we have implemented the solar plan in all the branches.
With the recent passing of the Green Economy and Climate Change Act, the launch of the Carbon Market Framework, and the increasing opportunities for bilateral agreements on Article 6, there is a need to enhance the understanding of key stakeholders in order to unlock full potential of carbon markets in Zambia. Against this background, series of capacity building sessions with the Ministry of Finance and National Planning, as well as the Ministry of Justice, are taking place in Lusaka. The Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Green Economy and Environment, Dr. Dauti Chibamba, officiated at the event.
Last year, when we went to COP29, we were busy signing bilateral agreements. We signed a bilateral agreement with Sweden, we signed with Norway. We signed an MOU with Singapore. We are talking with Singapore now, working on a bilateral agreement. We are talking with Switzerland, working on another bilateral agreement. Signing bilateral agreements is good, because you have cameras all over showing you signing the signatures. But the question is, what is the real output on the ground to come out of those bilateral agreements? And this is where we are now as Zambia. For us to earn the carbon credits, for us to get the money from those bilateral agreements that we signed, we need a pipeline of projects on the ground, renewable energy projects that are going to be implemented in order to earn those credits. And this is the reason why this training is very, very important. We have brought you on board. If you are talking of those bilateral agreements that we are signing, they have to be cleared by justice. When we start the carbon trading, the tax issues will have to be done by ZRA. When we collect the revenue, it goes to the Control 99. That's why yourselves, Minister of Finance, you are here. So this training is extremely important, and I'm glad you are keen. We start from the basics. And colleagues, I just want to encourage all of you, let's not shy away from learning. Learning is a lifelong process. You can have a degree or you can have several degrees, but it doesn't mean that you have learned everything that you need to learn in this world. So let's be open-minded. He has called them basics. Yes, some people might be questioning, why are we going to basics? It's always good to start from the basics so that you build a very strong foundation in that area of knowledge, and then you become a very comfortable expert to speak about these issues. But also just to note that climate change is a very knowledge-intensive arena. You have to keep updating your knowledge on a daily basis. There is a sea of literature available on climate change, on carbon trading. If you are talking of publications, then you are going to check. You find millions and millions out there. And the debate continues. So every other day, you find something new that is being discussed in the carbon space, in the climate change space. So I'll encourage all of you, be thirsty for knowledge. Read widely and read every day so that you arm yourself with the necessary knowledge that you need to work in this space. Carbon trading itself is an abstract issue. if it is abstract to you and me, what more to our communities out there in the rural areas? So again, once we have acquired the knowledge, we must have that ability to translate that knowledge to our local communities in a language, in a format that they can understand. So going forward, Director Shitima, I think we should make sure that beyond this training, our colleagues from Justice, from ZRA, from Ministry of Finance are part of our working arrangement. Even if some of them may not be in the technical committee, but ad hocly, we need to find ways and means to incorporate them so that we are together through and through. So I'm here just to encourage all of you, take this workshop seriously. The things you're learning here are very, very important. And also let's have this spirit of sharing. You have attended the meeting yourself. A lot more other colleagues have remained at the office. So when you get there, discuss with them, share with them the links or resources so that they can also have an opportunity to go and read on their own. So you've seen the agenda there. I think they have listed the things that you're going to look at. So overview of carbon markets. So this is a crucial issue. So as Zambia right now, we are behind schedule to develop those project pipelines, which then we can use to actualize the bilateral agreements that we have already signed. Remember, this is about money. If we have the projects in place, we generate the carbon credits, and then we have the money which goes to the treasury. That's why the colleagues from the Ministry of Finance are here. So just to encourage all of you colleagues, take this seriously, pay close attention. Where you are not sure, seek clarification. Joachim, don't tire. Martin, don't tire to explain repeatedly until people understand. And I think we need to get these workshops and interactions as often as possible. If we are challenged by resources, we can do them even virtually. Yeah, and also if there's a way from the project to provide some resource online. For example, all the discussions that are going to come from here, the resolutions that are going to come from here, can we have a dedicated portal or somewhere space on our website to upload this information as often as we can so that people once in a while can just visit that portal and see what resources they can get from there.
GGGI, as our acronym suggests, is responsible for supporting the government of Zambia with the developing the frameworks for the carbon markets under Article 6. And that's done through what we call our Spark program. And we have basically been doing over the past couple of years a lot of capacity building to support not just project developers, but the different sectors like Ministry of Finance and Justice and other institutions that need to understand how carbon markets work under Article 6 and also to be prepared for when we actually start trading under Article 6. So the importance of these workshops is for a lot of people, this is a new space and a new area for us as a country, but also in terms of also other countries, especially under Article 6, which is some kind of legislation that has taken some time to come to fruition. So it's important for us to build the capacity of all our institutions and all the stakeholders that would be facilitating this process. So we're going to be doing a lot of that capacity building across the board so that everybody is up to speed and able to understand how it will work, but also how this will benefit the country. So in terms of fighting against climate change, as already explained, carbon markets is about trading on emissions. So one of the things is that this will link very closely to what we call our nationally determined contributions, which is our NDCs, that is part of our obligation under the Paris Agreement. So we would be looking to see how we can coordinate that, not only to mobilize finance for the country to actually support the mitigation interventions that will also help the country reduce reductions, their carbon emissions.
Carbon market is huge. It's in the first place, it's the so-called compliance market. That means that, for example, in Europe, companies have to buy emission rights from the government. They have to pay for that. It's quite expensive. And at the same time, you have companies that would like to become carbon neutral, because either they are forced to do so or as part of their social and environmental responsibility strategies. For that, they are buying this type of emission reductions. It's a huge global market. It's billions that we are talking about. It's going to reach trillions by US dollars by 2050. So Zambia is, I would say, one of the 2-3 leading companies in Africa now when it comes to participating in this international market. And I think that's an excellent basis for the country to make best profit out of carbon markets, international carbon market. We are doing this capacity building activities now since about 2 years, starting with private sector, of course, with project developers. We had several interventions with the financial sector, because you need to get the commercial banks on board. Because you get, of course, revenues that are coming from the sale of emission reductions. But if you look at, for example, at a huge investment in, let's say, a new solar power plant, of course, upfront investments also need to be covered. And this is the biggest problem that we have at the moment, because there is a huge interest in buying emission reductions, but at the same time we need to support the projects in getting access to finance. And there the commercial banks play an important role, of course.
The capacity building workshop is trying to build the technical capacities of Ministry of Justice and Ministry of Finance and ZAE to understand and how to operationalize the carbon markets in the country. I think that the government made a lot of progress. Last year we just heard the PS's submission. The government signed what we call bilateral agreements. So there was signatures of contracts between Zambia and Norway, Zambia and Sweden. And there is ongoing negotiations in a very advanced stage with the government of Switzerland to pay for emission reduction coming from Zambia. Now it's very important to bring the sister ministries up to speed. It's important to engage Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Finance on how this should be implemented on the ground. So this is the background that PS was giving, and this was why he was calling for this meeting and this capacity building of the officers, technical officers today. There are lots of technical questions on the ground. How do we tax carbon payments that come into the country, for example? I think this is a very important question. And these things need to be understood and judged, and for the technical staff to do their job properly. I think the idea is that they also get a broad background training on what is the Paris Agreement, what is the political economy of climate change, what is UNFCCC, what was Kyoto, and where are we today with carbon trading also in Zambia? What are the rules that MG adopted up to here? What is the content of the Green Economy and Climate Change Act? What is the content of the carbon market framework? Where is the status of developing the statutory instrument for carbon market framework? And then these gentlemen and ladies need to understand this so that they can do their job once the projects, for example, have to pay taxes, or what is the procedure for if they want to get approved by government. So these are the details of what we have to discuss today.
Now imagine if trees could provide Wi-Fi. Just how many trees you would plant? Well, they provide oxygen. We definitely cannot do without it. Destruction of nature, such as forests, has led to irreversible climatic changes to our world. Join me as I talk to policy formulators, change makers, and climate change interest groups on Climate Check, weekly on this channel. Now you are the solution to climate change. We have come to the end of this week's edition of Climate Check, and of course I do hope you learned and built more trust in the use of clean renewable energy such as solar solutions. And of course there are quite many types of renewable clean energy that you can adopt in terms of your needs. And of course each time you think of energy, have the planet in mind and think clean energy. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.